Hey.
Alright, y'all, let's talk about. I felt really good about this Pacers team since they went on that big run last season. Obviously, Haliburton then got hurt, ended up losing a lot of games, and they fell out of the playoff race. But I think with a fresh start, with the new additions that they've made this offseason, I would not be surprised at all if the Pacers avoid the play-in game in general and are just a straight-up playoff team in the Eastern Conference. Now again, most of my reasoning behind that is because I am a huge believer in Tyrese Haliburton. I think he is going to be a really good guard for a really, really long time in this league. Me personally, I am just blessed that I'm going to be able to watch his career unfold. To me, he is already one of the best passers in the entire league. I feel very comfortable putting him in that top tier with guys like Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic. I understand a lot of people might not feel the same way about that, but that's why it's my opinion. Outside of Tyrese Haliburton though, there's a whole bunch of really good young talent on the rest of this Pacers roster. Obviously, Benedict Mathurin was a big name in the Rookie of the Year race last year. He finished top 3, I believe. And he did not really he got a lot of love at first, but as the season went on, his name kind of died down, and he didn't necessarily keep up with the Paolo Bancheros and Jalen Williams of the world, but he still held his own and was a pretty important player for most of the season for the Pacers. Then there was Andrew Nembhard, who is approaching his second year in the league, just like Benedict Mathurin. And although he's a little bit older because he spent more time in college than most players do, he still had a tremendous rookie season, and he was starting a lot of games by the end of the year. I don't think he'll crack the starting lineup to start the season, but he'll be a very important piece off the bench as a backup point guard role or even just 2 guard. But either way, he is also just a tremendous player that the Pacers picked up. Then obviously there was the addition of Obi Toppin. Now, I've never been the biggest Obi Toppin fan, but I will admit that he has shown plenty of flashes to the point that he intrigues me. In this case where he is getting a starting opportunity, Thibodeau in New York pretty much just had him riding bench the entire time. He'd give him a few stretches here and there, and he did perform well when he was given minutes. So again, I'm intrigued by Obi Toppin. I'm just not sold on him quite yet. And their other huge addition this offseason, Bruce Brown. I think this could easily contend for the second time in Bruce Brown's career, at least in recent years, that he was the biggest free agent offseason signing. We all know what he did for the Denver Nuggets this past season, being a great 6-man off the bench and just plugging so many holes for that team. And I expect that it'll be more of the same. He'll be bringing a very good veteran presence to a young Pacers team. He just impacts the game in so many ways that helps the team win, that I think just having him alone will be a huge boost to the team and is another big reason why I think they'll make the playoffs and avoid the play-in totally. Plus, at the center of all of this, protecting the paint, they have Miles Turner. He's been in trade talks for the past, pretty much his entire career at this point. But he fits this team perfectly. He defends the rim, he can stretch and shoot threes, he can get out in transition. He is just another really good veteran presence for this team, as he is one of the older guys in the rotation now. And again, he's just such a solid piece in the paint that it's going to be a big presence that helps this team also just win games. Now, I think one of the main reasons why I like watching the Pacers play so much, especially when Haliburton is on the court, is because they move the ball so effortlessly. It really stood out to me in their most recent preseason game, but again, the ball just flies around the court. It makes their offense look really good. It makes their offense perform even better because, again, the ball's moving, they're finding mismatches, they're creating open looks on the 3-point line on driving kicks. This provides great opportunities for guys like Buddy Hield to get open 3-point shots, which is his entire MO. And the rookie off the bench, Ben Shepherd, has also looked pretty solid in these first couple of preseason games so far. I'm excited to see how many minutes he's able to get in this season, especially if they do end up trading Buddy Hield at the trade deadline, as has been reported recently, because I think Ben Shepherd could easily step into those shoes for Buddy Hield. If Buddy Hield does get traded, though, it will be a little devastating because I love the bond and friendship that him and Tyrese Haliburton have created since Haliburton was traded from Sacramento. Those two seem like they really get along. You can see it on the court, you can see it off the court. It's been one of the more fun storylines of players bonding. Now, although I've said all of these really nice things about the Indiana Pacers, that does not mean that they do not have flaws. And their biggest flaw currently remains their forward position. I know I've expressed my concerns about Obi Toppin, but even just looking at the bench from there, Jarris Walker, I know he's only a rookie. He hasn't played any real regular season minutes yet, but he just seems like he has a little bit of a ways to go before he can be trusted to be a rotational guy. They have a whole slew of young guys who have bounced around on a couple teams now between Aaron Nesmith, Jalen Smith, Jordan Nwora, Isaiah Jackson. These are all guys who have shown flashes at some point with other teams or with the Pacers, but none of these guys, I'm not sold on any of these guys breaking into the rotation anytime soon, and they shouldn't be relied upon to, produce, whether it's regular season, postseason. They just haven't shown it yet. Now, with that being said, again, they're all really young. The oldest guy in that whole bunch is Jordan Nwora at 25. So there's still plenty of time for them to grow and develop and perhaps turn into something. I know Aaron Nesmith has shown some good play in this preseason so far. But until the Pacers figure out this wing rotation between Obi Toppin, all those guys I just mentioned, and whatever's happening with Buddy Hield, that's the main thing holding this team back from being a true contender. Because as it looks right now, I think you've got a cornerstone with Haliburton. Benedict Mathurin looks like he's going to be a tough shot taker and tough shot maker. You got Miles Turner holding down the paint, and outside of that, they need some more pieces to fall into place. But with the Eastern Conference being a bit weaker than the Western Conference, again, I think this Pacers team could easily push for a true playoff spot. And then one last thing before I wrap up, I can't believe I haven't mentioned him yet, but TJ McConnell also just continues to be an absolute dog for this team. Love me some TJ McConnell. He is one of the safest, best backup point guards in the entire NBA. Just a true traditional point guard. We still have love for those, even though they are slowly dying in this modern NBA. But just had to shout out my boy TJ McConnell real quick. But outside of that, I don't have anything else to say about the Pacers. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. All of those good things. And as always, I'll see you all in the next one.